Hey, this is Nate Woods with Peachtree Coaching Group, and I'm here with Ryan Akins of Akins Photo. So, Ryan, what do you do, and for how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, I am a photographer, and I've been running my business for, well, it's been open and doing business for about 10 years, but it has been, there's been seasons of when it's been full time, seasons when it's just been kind of like a side gig. So, um, but I've always been doing something photography related and videography related, video production. But currently, I'm back into Akins Photography full time.
Awesome. So, who is the ideal customer for your business?
Yeah, so anyone who needs photos. Ideally, so currently I'm shooting mainly events and weddings, and so um, the ideal customer is really someone who is looking for photos that are a little bit creative, wants to kind of get in to the weeds with me and explore some things and kind of do things maybe a little differently, and just being willing to uh, take some time to capture some really natural but also creative images. But on the flip side of that, I'm also working with uh, delving into doing some more commercial photography and clients. So um, coming in the future, the ideal client would be a small business owner, or uh, it could be a corporation, but particularly I would love to be working with small business owners who need photography services that are high quality, that where they don't have the imagery already. And so particularly kind of like lifestyle marketing pieces. I can definitely do anything from like headshots up to, uh, just kind of that corporate office environment stuff. But what I really love and have more passion for is kind of those lifestyle products, natural imagery where people can use for their marketing that makes it feel something that's genuine and creates that human connection versus kind of more stiff images per se. So,
Cool. Is that photo and video, or just leaning more toward the photo
yeah, I
side?
mean, I can do video, but I specialize in photo right now. So,
Gotcha. So, tell me a little bit about how your business changed during COVID, or any changes that you made within the business during COVID.
sure. So, I mean, COVID, when it comes to shooting photography, it really was like weddings slowed down a lot, events slowed down a lot. And I'm just, like right now, it's just me. And my wife is working with me for a second shooter. And
Mhm.
I've like, I hire second shooters. But Akins Photography is me. And so that just means wearing a mask and being safe. And um, and that was pretty much it. So for a lot of times, if I was out working with a family or something like that, it was wearing a mask, keeping my distance a little bit, maybe using some lenses that are a little bit longer range. But for the most part, it was working with my client, figuring out what their comfort level was, and making sure that I was following precautions based on their comfort level. So yeah.
Cool. Were there any specific changes that you saw, during the pandemic that, you know, maybe seemed to work well for your business that you'd like to implement moving forward?
Um, you know, I'm trying to think about what that could be. Honestly, with photography, uh, a lot of the, I guess, what I did for the first kind of 5 years of my business was a lot of word of mouth and a lot of like
Mhm.
going from place to place, getting to know people, maybe more in person and stuff like that, visiting venues, networking with other photographers, um, and since the pandemic, and this isn't necessarily anything new because of the pandemic, it's just kind of where I was in my business strategy. And it also happened to align with what was happening in the world at the time, but was just doing a lot more digital marketing and streamlining how I bring people in through a funnel, as far as actually using like a customer management system and bringing people through that funnel, all in the digital space. Um, and that has helped a lot as far as just making it an easy customer experience for my clients, where they can just pretty much pick a date, book with me, and do the whole process digitally. So, um, and just focusing a little less on like word of mouth and networking, a little more of like ranking on Google. So uh, that kind of stuff, and that's kind of stuff I would have done anyways, but
Sure.
it did kind of happen to align during that time when people weren't as in person. So, but with photography, you have to be in person. So when you're actually doing a shoot, so whether it's a big set or a small set, it's just taking those precautions with the safety measures.
Awesome. So, what do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned since being in business for yourself?
Yeah, it's marketing. uh, I would say that's the biggest thing to learn as a business owner, and especially it's just kind of freelance, creative professional. Whether it's because in my career, it's not Akins Photography has been my business, but I've also worked just as a freelancer on video sets, on
Mhm.
film production sets, on big photo sets, and even now doing some of that work as a photo assistant for other photographers. Um, Marketing is key. And like I said before, in the first several years of my business, it was really, I got a lot of clients just from word of mouth, and I didn't
Yeah.
really have to do much, and it just kind of happened. But which I was thankful for that. But I took kind of a hiatus from the freelance world for a few years. Still was doing weddings just through getting word of mouth. Now that I'm well, now I've for the second half of my career, so up to this date,
Mhm.
uh, word of mouth has slowed down, and so learning how to do marketing well, and especially digital marketing, has been key. Um, understanding SEO, understanding Google Ads, understanding um, all of those spaces, and uh, so I took a course through General Assembly, which is a great kind of career Kickstarter course, and I also worked as a
Mhm.
marketing manager for a while for an organization. But through those experiences, I took what I've learned and brought it to Akins Photography, and is experiencing a lot more success through that space.
Awesome. So, during your working career, who's been the best coach or mentor that you have had, and why?
Sure, yeah. I I haven't ever had like a specific business coach, but I've rubbed shoulders
Yeah.
with a lot of people. So I worked with a guy named Andrew Tusseroni for a long time as just kind of a crew member doing anything. And this is a creative agency that did anything from video production to um, photography. And so I freelanced with him as a crew member, doing anything from camera work to grip and all the good stuff. And uh, rubbing shoulders with him, what just kind of taught me uh, just to just kind of what it takes and kind of the drive that it takes to run your own business. I think I early on in my career, I was really overwhelmed with how do you do this thing? Like
Yeah.
I want to start my business. I want to be a business owner and be running this thing, but it just felt so big, and I didn't. There's always a question of, well, how do I do that? I didn't know. I
Yeah.
had no context of which how to do certain things, and so working with him, just he kind of his attitude and his ability to just face those problems head on and just do it and learn as you go and seek people out who know what they're doing, um, was a big influence on me, just to like build my confidence level and to just realize that nobody really knows what they're doing. We're all kind of learning as we go. And he was also a great director on set, and was just really good to his employees. And so that was also a key thing, is people he employed and worked with. He directed them really well with like confident leadership, but at the same time, he treated them with respect, and they were on the same level as him in the sense of like their autonomy and how they can speak into situations. And so I think those things are really impactful for me.
Awesome. So what does the future look like for your business, and do you see any main challenges moving forward?
Yeah, so photography is an interesting world. When it comes to video production, like if you're trying to work on a set or work on a film or TV, like there's a pretty clear path to get there as far as in Georgia right now, right? With the union work and all that stuff going on. Photography, especially commercial photography, is really niche, and it's kind of a little bit of a conundrum where it's like if if you don't know the right people and you went to school for photography or something, it's hard to get into that world. But then nobody's like offering people new to that world the ability to get into it, right? And so it's kind of like, okay, well, how does this even work? So I'm an established photographer in event photography and in wedding photography and portrait photography and like headshot world and that kind of stuff. Like getting into like big brand photography is where I want to go, is kind of my future goals. And so the first step is working as photo assistant, getting to know a bunch of photographers and networking, and then building up my own reputation as a brand photographer. And so I think the challenge there is just is doing a lot of networking and being willing to take work that might not be exactly what you want. So this could apply to other businesses. So like, for example, as an established photographer, if I'm going to be working with a brand or working with individual, I have a price point, and I've been doing this for 10 years. So I have a pretty solid price structure and how I work with people. But if I'm going to open up to another facet of photography that I really want to focus on, I'm entering almost as like a newbie, like, so because I don't have the portfolio for it. So like I love cycling and biking, and if I want to get into like cycling brand photography, I had to do some real work and maybe take some gigs that aren't going to pay what I would like, or photo assists for another photographer. And so that's kind of where I am in my career right now, where I have this very established client base and events and portraits and kind of this, all my portfolio looks this with this kind of work, and I do really enjoy that. But in order to expand my skills, grow as a photographer, and grow in my professional path, I think it's always good to be learning and expanding my skill set, because photography is a big world out there as far as like the amount of variety and diversity of things that you can photograph and the skills it takes to do those different things. And so I'm excited to kind of jump into different facets of photography and to work with new people. And yeah, so that's kind of a challenge I see coming and where I would like to take things in the future.
Awesome. All right. Well, what do you want viewers of this video to know about you? Where can they find you? What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just want to say I don't know the network here. I feel like is coaches, and I'm not totally sure what all the business network is here, but if you're a small business owner, if you need images and you need quality images, I would love to work with you. And and I know what it's like running a small business, and I know what the challenges that can come with that. And I want to work with you within your budget. So that's kind of where what I would like to say to people who are watching this video. Um, and yeah, so and I know the struggles of running a small business and how what that the challenges that can come with that. And so um, if content photography is like part of your content plan and your strategy, um, working as a marketing manager and my experience in marketing, if you have any questions, just want to talk, I'm also a person that can just be somebody that you can reach out to if you so desire. So
Awesome. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
yeah, best way to get in touch with me is just through my website or my email, and that's just www.akinsphoto.com. So that's AKINS photo.com. And then my email is just ryan@akinsphoto.com. And I don't know if there's a place to link that or whatnot, but
Yeah, absolutely. I'll include it in the comments section.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What? Hey, that kind of wraps up the interview, Ryan. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me, and great job.
Absolutely. Thank you.